What should have been the happiest day of sweet Sophia's life was about to turn into a nightmare. After saying "I do" and leaving the wedding ceremony, a devastating revelation came to light. He has another family. Sophia's world was about to crumble with this unexpected truth. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. The day dawned radiant, with the sun gently shining through the curtains of Sophia's room. She slowly opened her eyes, feeling her heart race as she realized that the big day had finally arrived. Her wedding to Andrew. A smile lit up her face as she stretched in bed, letting happiness completely envelop her. Sophia had always been a determined young woman with a kind heart. At 28 years old, she had built a promising career as an architect, and it was then that she met Andrew. He entered her life like a whirlwind, bringing with him an infectious energy and a love she had never imagined possible. Getting out of bed, Sophia walked to the window and opened the curtains, letting the sunlight flood the room. Outside, her parents' garden was being decorated for the ceremony. White and pink flowers adorned the path she would walk down to the makeshift altar, and white chairs were arranged in perfect rows. While observing the preparations, Sophia couldn't help but think of Andrew and how much he meant to her. Since their first meeting 2 years ago, they had shared a deep connection based on mutual respect and a love that seemed to grow every day. Andrew had always been thoughtful and kind, the kind of man she had dreamed of building a life with. However, a small cloud of concern hovered over her thoughts. Throughout the relationship, there were moments that left her intrigued. Andrew occasionally received calls that made him step away to answer, and once she found a child's drawing in the pocket of one of his jackets. When questioned, Andrew always had a plausible explanation, but something in the back of Sophia's mind bothered her. Shaking her head to dispel these thoughts, Sophia decided to focus on the happiness of the moment. Today was the day she and Andrew would officially unite their lives, and nothing could overshadow this joy. The morning flew by in the blink of an eye, with Sophia being pampered by her mother and her friends. The wedding dress, an elegant and delicate design, seemed to have been made especially for her. When she was finally ready, Sophia looked at herself in the mirror and could hardly believe the image she saw reflected. She was radiant, with her eyes shining with emotion and a smile that lit up her entire face. Meanwhile, in another room of the house, Andrew was getting ready with the help of his groomsmen. He adjusted his tie for the 10th time, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. Andrew had always known that Sophia was the woman of his life, and he could hardly wait to see her walking towards him down the aisle. As the guests began to arrive, the garden came to life. Laughter and lively conversations filled the air, creating an atmosphere of joy and anticipation. Sophia's cousin, Lisa, circulated among the guests, seemingly carefree, but her attentive eyes didn't miss a single detail. Finally, the moment arrived. The soft music began to play, and all eyes turned toward the garden entrance. Sophia appeared, arm in arm with her father, a vision of pure beauty and happiness. Andrew, waiting for her at the altar, felt his heart skip a beat as he saw her. Their eyes met, and in that moment, everything around them seemed to disappear. The ceremony was emotional and intimate. Sophia and Andrew exchanged vows that caused many guests to discreetly wipe away tears. When the officiant declared them husband and wife, the explosion of joy was contagious. The newlyweds' kiss was sealed with applause and cheers of congratulations. As the couple began walking back down the aisle of flowers, being showered with petals thrown by the guests, Lisa, Sophia's cousin, quickly approached. With a poorly disguised look of concern, she whispered something in Sophia's ear that made the bride freeze in place. Andrew has another family. Lisa pulled Sophie by the arm and told her that she had been investigating Andrew, and that only during the ceremony did she receive a message confirming that Andrew had another family and 2 children. Sophia's world seemed to crumble at that moment. Her radiant smile disappeared, replaced by an expression of shock and confusion. Andrew, noticing the sudden change in his wife, stopped and looked at her with concern. Sophia, what happened? He asked, his voice full of worry. Unable to form words, Sophia just looked at him, her eyes full of questions and hurt. Andrew, sensing that something serious had happened, gently guided her to a more secluded corner of the garden, away from the curious glances of the guests. Andrew, Sophia finally managed to say, her voice trembling, is it true? Do you have another family? The question hit Andrew like a punch in the stomach. He closed his eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. When he opened them again, Sophia could see a mix of pain and resignation in his gaze. Sophia, I never wanted to hide this from you, he began, his voice low and filled with emotion. But the situation is complicated, and I was afraid you wouldn't understand. Sophia felt tears beginning to form in her eyes. Understand what, Andrew? That you have a double life? That everything we lived was a lie? Andrew shook his head vehemently. No, it's not like that at all. Please let me explain. He paused, organizing his thoughts, and then began to tell his story. A few years ago, I reconnected with Clara, a dear friend from my childhood. She was in a terrible situation, Sophia. She had been a victim of domestic violence and was fleeing an abusive relationship with her ex-husband. Clara had 2 small children and lived in constant fear of being found. Sophia listened attentively, her heart tightening with every word. Andrew continued. When I learned of her situation, I couldn't just ignore it. Clara was desperate with nowhere to go. That's when I made an impulsive decision. I offered her a place to stay, a house that my family owned. To protect Clara and the children, we created a cover story. To anyone who asked, that was my family. I helped her get a job, to rebuild her life. My parents also got involved, offering support and protection. Andrew looked directly into Sophia's eyes, his voice full of sincerity. I was never married to Clara, nor did I have a romantic relationship with her. My role was that of a protector, of a friend. I visit the children regularly and provide financial and emotional support as I promised. But that part of my life, I kept separate from you. Sophia was stunned, trying to process everything she had just heard. Part of her felt relieved to know there was no romantic betrayal, but another part still ached with the weight of the secret. Why didn't you tell me before? She asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. I would have understood, Andrew. I would have helped. Andrew held her hands tenderly. I know, and that's the part that hurts me the most. I knew you would have understood, but I also knew the burden was too great. I wanted to tell you, but the moment never seemed right. And now, on our day, everything came to light in a way I never wanted. At that moment, Andrew's parents approached, noticing the tension between the couple. What's happening? Andrew's mother asked, concerned. Andrew looked at his parents and then back at Sophia. She knows about Clara, he said simply. Andrew's parents exchanged a look of understanding and then turned to Sophia. It's true, dear, Andrew's father said. Everything Andrew told you. We helped protect Clara and the children. It was a difficult decision, but necessary. Sophia was silent for a long moment, her mind processing everything she had discovered. She looked at Andrew, seeing in him the man she had fallen in love with. Imperfect, yes, but with a heart full of compassion and the courage to do what he believed was right. Finally, she spoke, her voice firm despite the turbulent emotions. I need time to process all of this, Andrew, but I understand why you did what you did. Let's face this together. Andrew hugged her, feeling immense relief. I love you, Sophia, more than anything. Thank you for giving me the chance to explain. Sophia gently pulled away from the embrace and looked into Andrew's eyes. No more pretend family. From today on, let's build a truly real family. With these words, they returned to the reception hand in hand. The guests, unaware of the details of what had happened, only noticed that the couple seemed even closer. The party continued, with music, dancing and celebration. Sophia and Andrew danced their first dance as a couple, their eyes locked on each other, silently communicating their renewed love and commitment. As the night progressed, Sophia had the opportunity to talk more with Andrew's parents, who told her more details about Clara's situation and the children. She was touched by the compassion and dedication of the whole family in helping someone in need. When the party finally came to an end and the last guests said their goodbyes, Sophia and Andrew found themselves alone in the garden lit by soft lights. They sat on a bench, exhausted, but happy. "You know," said Sophia, breaking the silence, "when I found out about another family, my world collapsed for a moment. But now, knowing the truth, I feel even more in love with you, Andrew." Andrew looked at her with surprise. "Even after I hid it from you?" Sophia nodded. "Yes, because now I see how far you are willing to go to protect others, even if it means complicating your own life. It's one of the reasons I fell in love with you in the first place, your generous heart." Andrew smiled, his eyes shining with unshed tears. "I promise that from now on, there will be no more secrets between us. We will face everything together, as a team." "As a family," corrected Sophia, smiling. They sealed this promise with a tender kiss, knowing that the road ahead would not be easy, but confident that their love was strong enough to overcome any obstacle. In the days and weeks that followed, Sophia had the opportunity to meet Clara and the children. What could have been a tense meeting turned into a touching experience. Sophia saw firsthand the positive impact Andrew and his family had on the lives of those vulnerable people. Over time, Sophia not only accepted this part of Andrew's life, but became an active ally in the protection and support of Clara and her children. Together, they found ways to integrate this reality into their lives in a healthy and open manner. Sophia and Andrew's marriage, which began with a shocking revelation, strengthened through honesty and mutual understanding. They learned that true love is not based on perfection, but on the ability to accept each other's imperfections and grow together through challenges. As they built their own family, Sophia and Andrew never forgot the lesson they learned on their wedding day, that compassion, honesty, and unconditional love are the true foundations of a lasting relationship. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.